now delighted to be joined online by Dominic Purcell to talk about Season 5 of DC Legends of Tomorrow, which debuted here on the UK and Ireland on April the 2nd. And I suppose, Dominic, we're here now in Ireland, we're into our 5th season, DC Legends of Tomorrow, a sort of a time-travelling sort of roller coaster of a ride. For you, what has the experience been like so far?
The experience has been wonderful. At the start of Legends, we certainly didn't expect it to be as successful as it was. I think the first season was a bit whack. It was a bit too serious, and then the writers and the cast all got together and said, "Look, let's just make this show as whack and as practical and as funny and as humorous and as self-deprecating as possible." Goofy, it's like a mixture of Guardians of the Galaxy, Monty Python in space, if you will. If you talk about jumping the shark once, we've jumped it 5 times.
And I suppose, Dominic, you have experience of the Marvel Universe before. You were in the Flash, your character, that's where he came prominent, working also alongside your good mate Wentworth Miller, who played Leo Smart. And to sort of getting that opportunity, you were in the Flash. How did the opportunity come about for you to get cast in the DC Legends of Tomorrow? Was it something that was on the cards or on the pipeline even during your time in Flash? Were you aware that something like this was coming about?
No, I got a call from Wentworth saying, "Dom, what are you doing at the moment?" I said, "Surfing." And he said, "Well, I'm playing a character on the Flash, and the producers and the writers are looking for a character called Heatwave," and Heatwave was described as this really intense, mouthy, aggressive, chauvinistic, psychopath, if you will, with a very an innate humor because he's so crazy. And he said to the producers, the producers actually said to Wentworth, we need an actor who's, I'm quoting them, I'm quoting Wentworth, saying we need someone who's a bit of a force of nature.
Yeah.
And Wentworth said, well, there's only one guy like that, and that's Dominic. So thanks to Wentworth, I was cast as Heatwave. And once Wentworth and I teamed up on The Flash, ratings went through the roof, and I think that's when the seed was planted. Okay, well, let's see if we can get these guys together a bit more, and before we knew it, we were both doing Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, and I suppose, Dominic, the sort of Marvel Universe, the old sort of superhero, the good versus bad, even growing up as an actor, was something that you always had maybe a vision of being as a superhero, this sort of universe? Was it something that sort of appealed to you as an actor, or do you like the more sort of serious sort of roles?
No, mate, I wasn't interested at all in doing superheroes or anything. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my thing. But the opportunity came, and I sat down with my agents and people, and they said, "You know what? Why not? Expose yourself to a different kind of audience." And obviously, the superhero genre is still really big, and
yeah, it's huge.
Continue to be big, and it just made perfect sense to just have a crack at it and see what happens.
Yeah, and I suppose, Dominic, the shooting of the DC Legends of Tomorrow, it's in Vancouver, and in relation to the production week of DC Legends of Tomorrow, and the time you get the sort of first table read, to the time you see the scripts, and maybe the first sort of the live sort of first block shooting or shooting of different scenes. How long does it take to put together one episode of DC Legends of Tomorrow? You're talking maybe 5-6 working days?
No, every episode roughly pans out to be about 9 days.
Okay. And Dominic, in relation to the DC Legends of Tomorrow, in relation to its production, I assume that with all the special effects and all the storylines that are going on, so many plots in relation to going back, time traveling and all that. It's probably a big, massive sort of production, and just to get all those scenes to intertwine, I'd say it takes an awful lot of time and effort.
Yeah, I mean, Legends of Tomorrow is a big, big show. You know, it's an expensive show. You know, the production values are just awesome. I mean, if you watch Legends, it's just like a little mini movie. You know, the special effects, the whole thing is just, you know, on an elite level. And you know, and then you marry that with the humor of the show, the self-deprecation of it. You know, we're not taking ourselves seriously, and I think that's one of the things I love most about the show. You know, I don't think I'd really fancy being involved in a superhero show that takes itself too seriously at all. I mean, you know, the superhero genre in of itself is ridiculous. So we just went with that kind of humor and stuff, and you know, it worked out. And you know, it's the kind of show that people can just chill and have a beer and just laugh out loud. You know, and especially with the world at the moment.
Yeah, and I suppose
the world is at the moment. You know, we need shows like Legends. I mean, I know for a fact that I don't want to sit down and watch something really heavy.
Yeah. And I suppose, Dominic, in relation to your character, Mick Rory, I saw a scene there which you played with Wentworth Leo Smart in relation to Mick's alcoholism and his fondness of the drink. And in relation to that scene, it just struck me, it brought me back to Prison Break. It was just the two of you there in a sort of on a one-to-one basis, and it touched on a serious issue for what is such a light sort of programming.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the other thing about Legends is that as ridiculous and as funny as it is, you know, we're touching on real kind of social issues. You know, we're talking, you know, we have, you know, it's all, you know, celebrating equality with sexual orientation, with, you know, as you mentioned, you know, alcoholism and what have you, but you know, but it's not meant to be this preachy kind of thing. We do it again. We do it with a very subtle kind of humor. You know, Mick doesn't believe he's an alcoholic, even though he drinks from 6 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, he just loves the drink, loves the pint. You know, and working with Wentworth is always a pleasure. I mean, we're very close as friends. And, you know, it's like, you know, we're a perfect partnership, both he and I. I mean, we just have a special relationship on camera and off camera. It just works.
And I suppose, Dominic, we finished season 4 here in Ireland. We're on to season 5, and just something that struck me about season 5 is in relation to the timeline, the time travel. Some of the characters mentioned the sort of plots that involve Rasputin, Bugsy, Genghis Khan, and William Shakespeare. So if there's any sort of diversity there, you have it there in droves. And what are we in store for in season 5? Is it out of the seat sort of stuff, a roller coaster sort of a ride, and what's in store for Mick as well?
I'm not sure. We actually finished filming season 5, so all that stuff that you just mentioned is actually in season 5. And we're going to talk about season 6. I'm not exactly sure what the writers are up to, but I know at some point Mick is going to go off and do his own little journey, and so we get to see Mick more one-on-one this season. You know, he's been on that bloody ship for 5-6 years now, and we're going to see him, you know, have a bit of respite and follow Mick Rory's own storyline and see what he gets up to, which I'm looking really forward to.
Yeah, and your character as well, Mick Rory, it's sort of a roller coaster ride for me. He's bouncing from good to evil the whole sort of a time, from being the good guy to being the bad guy, to being that. He's always that bit of the outcast sort of character that just needs somewhere to belong, just needs that sort of acceptance to feel sort of loved.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like essentially Mick Rory's an anti-hero. You know, he's really grown on the ship. He realizes that begrudgingly that
for you, Dominic, have you any other projects that are going to, or TV series, films that are going to hit our screens here in Ireland, maybe in the fall or maybe in the winter time coming up this year?
Well, I was about to go off and do a film in Prague, but it got shut down because of the coronavirus. That will restart again when all this shit, finishes.
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm going in to see season 6 of Legends.
Yeah.
Prison Break is still in the works, so we don't know when that's gonna come back. But we're all still very, very confident that at some point it will be we'll do a final season of Prison Break 6.
And I suppose, Dominic, on that point, I have to touch with you on Prison Break. I'm actually speaking to a friend of yours in an hour's time, William Fichtner, and I suppose in relation to Bill there and your time in sort of Prison Break, and I suppose I actually spoke to Sarah Wayne Callis as well last year, and that must bring back fond memories. It cast you all into sort of superstardom. And was that probably that time spent on Prison Break and shooting Prison Break? Is that still for you the most fondest moments of your career so far? Is that the highlight for you, that time spent on Prison Break?
I think that's fair to say. You don't expect. It's very rare that you actually. I think what people don't really understand is the likelihood of a TV show actually being on air is a rarity. You do a thing called a pilot, and the studios sit around looking at the pilot. The pilot is the first episode. Then they decide whether or not they're going to pick it up. So once the TV show's picked up, that's a rarity, and it's even more of a rarity for the show to be a success. And the success that Prison Break had was an international phenomenon. And so, for me, I don't expect to ever do a show that will surpass, the success that Prison Break did. So definitely that was a massive, massive highlight for me, and I'm very humbled to be a part of it, and working with such great actors is another rarity. Every actor on that show is an amazingly talented, brilliant actors, Sarah, Bill Fichtner, and, Peter Stormare, obviously Wentworth, Mari, the list goes on and on and on.
Robert Nepper, yeah. You mentioned, Dominic, there was so many. And Dominic Purcell, have you ever been to Ireland?
Man, that's a silly question. My family live in Ireland.
Yeah. When was the last time you've been back on our shores, Dominic?
I was back about 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
My mother passed, which is
apologies.
very sad to say.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I love Ireland. My family live in Dundalk, and I love the Irish people, and Mum was born in Dublin, and so I have an Irish passport.
Yep.
I love hanging out with the family, going to the pub, getting on the booze, and having a great old time.
And finally, Dominic Purcell, before we let you go, we'll turn it over to your own character, Mick Rory, for the last 30 seconds. He might enlighten us all why we should continue tuning in to DC Legends of Tomorrow. We've gone through the first episode. We'll be on to episode 2. So we'll hand it over to Mick Rory himself, why we should all tune in and keep watching season 5 of DC Legends of Tomorrow. Over to you, Mick.
Yeah, well, look, if with the world being in such disarray, and the torture that's going on around the world, this catastrophic event with carnivorous, I think people really need a little bit of light in their lives, a chance to laugh, a chance to disengage from the dark times, and Legends of Tomorrow provides all of that. You're guaranteed to laugh, you're guaranteed to escape reality for at least an hour. It's one of those shows that, again, doesn't take itself too seriously. It's incredibly funny, incredibly fast and
pleasure talking to you this evening. We wish you all the best in your future endeavours. Hopefully you'll get to go to Czech Republic and shoot that movie towards the end of the year and on to season 6 once this epidemic is over us, on season 6 of DC Legends of Tomorrow. To you and to your family, mate, take care.
And just one other thing, the last thing, when you speak to, are you speaking to Bill? You say in an hour?
Yeah, I'm speaking to him in an hour, yeah, at 8 o'clock, yeah, Irish time.
Tell him Dominic says stop snafting.
Stop snafting.
Smack, like acting with an S.
Okay.
Stop smacking.
Stop smacking.
You'll get it.
Okay. No doubt I will. I'll bring that up. Dominic, pleasure, mate.
It's an inside joke with me and Bill.
Okay, no problem. Cheers, Dominic.
All right.